Well, I'm not sure where it goes, but it goes somewhere, right? Well, good morning and welcome back to the Bikepacking Dad's YouTube channel. You are joining me from a very grey, miserable and wet Asda car park in the Scottish borders. It's Saturday morning, it's 9:25 currently. I've done the weekly shop already. I've got to do my chores before the boss lady lets me out for bikepacking, right? It's only fair. But yeah, I've picked another cracking weekend by the looks of it to go bikepacking. I'm heading out to a place called Alemoor Loch in the Scottish borders. I'll probably throw some photos up around here because it's a beautiful place. I've ridden past it tons of times on the road bike and I've always thought I need to go and explore there. So what better way than go bikepacking? I've looked on Komoot. There are definitely some trails that peel off, so my plan is to hit some of those little trails, get into the middle of nowhere, find a nice little camping spot, and if the weather holds, I'll sit out. I might make a little fire. If it doesn't hold, I'm probably going to be in my tent reading my book and hopefully I'll have a beautiful view of the loch. So that's my plan, but I need to go home, unpack this shopping, pack my bike up, get all my gear on, and then pedal quite hard to get nice and warm. So I will see you out on the road. So we're just home. I'm doing a bit of the dad part of the bikepacking dad right now with baby Bryn over here. He's helping me pack my food reserves. So without further ado, let's go and take a look what I'm going to be throwing in the bag to keep myself full and give myself a little treat when I get to camp later on. As long as this guy doesn't eat all of my jelly babies first. Am I right? He's not much for talking at the moment. So nothing too fancy really. Over here, because I'm all out of the fire pot baked apple porridge, I've basically just thrown loads of porridge, some cinnamon, a bit of sugar and some raisins into a bag, and I will pour that into some boiling water in the morning to tide me over. I've bought some super concentrated squash because I've been thinking about it for ages and sometimes I don't want a cup of coffee or a cup of tea. I want something sweet, so I'm going to try that out later tonight to keep me warm. Got some jelly babies, obviously, a couple of cereal bars, a little energy bar and a couple of dehydrated meals. I'll probably only eat one of them, but I always take two just in case I break a leg and end up doing some monster survival thing where I can only eat 3 spoonfuls a day until my rescue. So yeah, that's my thought process. That's what's going in the bag. So it's dad 1, babies 0 when it comes to who's getting the jelly babies, so that's a result. The bags are pretty much packed. I've got to get the food in, the clothes, I've got to get it all on the bike, and this time I've remembered to pack a woolly hat because that was a tragic mistake last time, and if you watched any of my videos, you'll know I'm not made for the cold. So, without further ado, let's get all this on the bike. Let's get out there. So, Alemoor Reservoir, hey? I think it's a reservoir, not a loch. It's probably got a loch as well, actually. But it's not too far from my house. I want to say about 35 miles. Cycle past it dozens of times on the road bike. It's beautiful. I'm going to lift my bike over the fence or find a little path. I'm going to peel off into the woods, and obviously I've started talking as we were going into a climb. Well planned. So yeah, peel off into the woods, hopefully find this lovely little opening in the trees with some soft bouncy grass that by some miracle is dry, and I can have my tent opened out with a nice view of the water, but time will tell. Right, let's get on with this climb. Come on, legs. Well, this is a lovely bit of road. Like I say, cycled it loads of times. Never gets old though, look at it. Middle of nowhere, hardly any cars. Road surface isn't too bad if you stay like here and dodge that bit. So yeah, not bad at all. I tell you what though, since my last bikepacking trip, episode 2, you'll know if you watched that I struggled towards the end. My fitness hasn't really been where I would like it to be at, but you know, life gets in the way. I've got other priorities now with the kids and work and things like that, so hey, it is what it is. But in the last month, the last 3 or 4 weeks, I've managed to get out and do a few bike rides. I've done a couple on this with some mates on their mountain bikes, and I've also had the road bike out, so the legs are feeling pretty good, and mentally and physically I feel a lot better for it. So yeah, if you are watching this and thinking about trying any of these trips and things, go and get yourself a bike. You don't have to load it up with bags the first few times, you know. Just go ride around, discover some new roads. You'll not regret it. And if you don't feel better for it, well, you will, trust me. Well, it's the golden opportunity there to say that if you haven't seen episode 1 or 2 of my bikepacking year, and you are enjoying this video, then obviously hit all of the buttons below to say that you love it. Why not? Appreciate the support. But yeah, episode 1 and 2, links will be in the description. Go and see what I got up to in some absolutely freezing weather. Episode 1 was on my lonesome to probably one of the most beautiful places I've ever camped. The view was unreal. I'll definitely be going back in the summer. And episode 2 was with some friends, with a very, very, very interesting and tasty last 15 kilometers over some terrain that, would I do it again? My legs say no, but the adventure person in me says, yeah, I'd probably give it a go. So anyway, go check out those episodes if you are enjoying this. I'm gonna get back to it. Well, this is a bit awkward, you've caught me, everybody. The white powder, my performance enhancing drugs. Yeah, I couldn't get it off my gloves in time before you saw it, but these jelly babies are really doing the trick, so expect some bikepacking KOMs in the near future. I'm sure that sugar rush will give me all the energy I need. Anyway, let's get rid of the evidence. Well, you know, kind of. Now, as many times as I've ridden this road, let me find a gear, there we go. As many times as I've ridden it, riding it on this bike with all of my gear is a completely different experience. Because when I'm out on my snazzy road bike coming up here, I feel like I'm putting a bit of, you know, 60-70% effort, and I feel I cruise up here, but I tell you what, with the extra weight, yeah, it's no joke. But like I say, I've got a few extra rides in the legs. They're still feeling pretty fresh. So we'll find the right gear, spin my way up here and enjoy probably bits of this countryside that I've never looked at because I'm too busy trying to get up the hill as quickly as possible. So sometimes, yeah, it's nice. You don't have to go somewhere new all the time, but if you go places you know and just go that little bit slower, it's like a different place. Well, that was a little bit philosophical, wasn't it? You're welcome. So we're just about to enter the tiny village of Ettrick Bridge. I don't think that speed limit's gonna cause me any issues. The road might though. Oh, that's pretty lumpy. Yeah, this is a nice little place. It's a village that goes all uphill, well, from my direction. And there's a little a sprint KOM that me and a gentleman on Strava got pretty invested in the other year, and I think we share it. I think we're both at 17 seconds, but you'll see when we get around the corner. It's like a nice kind of straight uphill sprint through the town. I'm not sure how much the locals enjoyed our activities, but it is what it is. Oh, that little beep there was telling me I should go for it. So at present, I'm wearing a new pair of bib tights. They're from Wiggle, they are by DHB, and it's their classic thermal bib tight. How did I come to own another pair of bib tights? Well, if you want to know, here's the story. I'm sitting there on my sofa the other night, and I get an email from Wiggle, because that's how they get you. Flash sale. And I'm thinking, I'll take a look, I'll not buy anything. I've got restraint and no money, so it's fine, I'll take a browse. But there they were, £30 for a set of thermal bib tights. And I thought, that's a pretty good price, let's look at the reviews. But the main review was fairly negative. Quite a long review by some gentleman who said that they weren't very warm and that his leg hairs poked through the material. Now, granted, I'm not the manliest of man, but I still have hairs on the old legs. They're not poking through the material, and the trip computer says it's 4 degrees and they're keeping me pretty toasty. So, if a scrawny athletic me can be warm in these, and my leg hairs, aren't on show, I'd like to think maybe he just got a bad pair of bib tights. But I would recommend them. I don't know how long this flash sale goes on for, but whenever this video gets edited and goes up, I would still recommend looking at them, because if they're a reasonable price and you need some bib tights, I'm pretty sure these will do you nicely. How's it going? You look like you could use a bath. I don't know if that's me being horrible or not. I don't know if you can even see this horse. I'm hoping so. You trying to get some of this long stuff? Yeah? I tell you what, maybe I can help you out. Hold on a minute. Let's see what I can do. So, that was my first mistake. The plan was a few handfuls of grass for the horse, say hello, get on my way. I thought it'll make some good footage for the video. I don't know too much about horses. I didn't anticipate he would smell all of the food in my bag and want to eat the shifters of my bike. I also didn't think that putting my glove on the seat would cause me such an issue, but as you're about to see, we got into a bit of a mess here. That's my glove. Oh, let go of the... Let go. Can I... Do you think I can get that back, or... Do you think I can get it? Now, the first thing I want to say is nothing happened to this horse. The horse was absolutely fine. I don't know much about horses, like I said, but when I showed my wife this, she was super scared something bad had happened to the horse. If he had swallowed it, he could have choked and all this stuff, but the horse was fine, so panic not, people, panic not. The glove came off a little bit worse for wear, as you'll see at the end, but this scenario went on for about 2 minutes as I'm trying to get my glove back. But we'll cut to the end. Let's see if I managed to get it out of the horse's mouth.
We're still not getting that, are we? I don't know how you've chewed it for so long, because I can't get any flavour in it.
Leave it then. Here, give it to me. Give it. Give it. Yes. Oh, come on. Yes. Ah. This is both mine and your fault, okay? No, we're not having a round two. It's been an experience, mate. You have a great day. I'm sorry my glove didn't satisfy your appetite. So I stopped. You saw. I've got a video. This glove has been inside of a horse. It has some holes in it now. It's a little bit damp on the inside, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, didn't see that one coming. So we're about to peel off this road for the first time in about 20 miles. We're gonna take a left, and this is gonna be the road that takes us to the reservoir. Well, the weather's turned a bit now. There's a pretty cold wind hitting me in the face, and it's fetching along some drops of rain with it, so need to just stay focused on the end goal here. I've got a nice warm cup of coffee at the end. I've got a nice warm meal. I'm going to get my tent up, and if needs be, I can climb into my sleeping bag nice and early and read my book. but hopefully it clears up and the sun's going to come out and it's going to be 23 degrees. But I'm not going to bet my house on that. We're about to make some friends again. Are they friendly or are they out to get me? Not quite as many as on episode 2. Let's go and check that out. There's about 150 of them that I herded along. Afternoon. So remember earlier on when I said when you go slower you see things you've not seen before? Well, I'm going this way, okay? That's still my destination. But as I'm cycling down here, look at these forestry tracks. Lovely gravel forestry tracks that seem to disappear into the middle of nowhere. So straight away, I've popped on my offline maps on Komoot. They actually go, there's one that goes all the way up here. Popped onto my offline maps, put a little ping in it, and I'm definitely going to come back and see if I can plan an adventure out in this bit. Oh, sorry GoPro, forgot to switch you off. But yeah, the path less travelled. We're going that way one day. Well, here we are. Let's get a look at this. Alemoor. Boom. No fishing, okay? Didn't bring a rod anyway. That is a lot of water. A lot of water. There's no teas in there, Jack. Well done. Well, where am I thinking? So this is to the left. Okay. It's bigger than I remember, but usually I'm just riding past it. I push across. This is to the right. I'm thinking right. Am I? Oh, oh. Well, oh no, this doesn't look good. Okay. And drop. Oh. Right. Let's see where this goes. Do not fall in the reservoir, Jack. Don't do it. It's kind of a path. So, I continued along here. It was a path if you were walking. I managed to ride a little bit of it, but as you'll see, I have to get off in a little bit because it gets a little bit tasty, even for my mediocre bike handling skills. The problem with this area, though, as much as I wanted to be in the trees with a view of the water, there was no flat ground. So unfortunately I couldn't find anywhere suitable really for the camping spot. It was all very boggy and it wasn't very flat. So I've ridden up past the loch, the reservoir, and I found a little road that looks like it drops me back towards the far side of it. So I'm about to find out. I'll be annoyed if it doesn't because I'm currently going downhill, which means I'll have to climb back up here, but nothing ventured, nothing gained. Well, I've made it to the other side and I didn't even know this was here because I've never been down here before. But here's the reservoir. It's making a great sound. There's the little building, and if we pop over to the other side, you can see it running away down the valley. So pretty beautiful, I think. Having had a quick look around, the road kind of goes behind this building here, and I could head over to these woods and try and find somewhere to camp there. So that's my current plan. Let's see if we can find somewhere flat and dry. Well, I was all the way over there earlier, if you can see that bridge. And what does this say? Private, no fishing. That's fine. Can I get into here? Ugh. Maybe. Well, this was my second location where I thought I would try and get into the trees and find a nice camping spot with a view of the water. But yet again, couldn't find any flat ground. It just wasn't viable, so we went again. So stage 3 of trying to find somewhere to camp. I've come back across. Couldn't find any flat ground that side, so here we are. Oh, excuse me. Nearly fell off. But I want to say this looks a little bit more promising. Apart from trying to get to the path because of the fall and stuff. Oh, that's a tree. Well, that's a save caught on camera right there. Let's drop down here. Well, third time was the charm, and I found a little bit of flat ground. I could see the water through the trees. Yes, I would like to have been closer, but it just wasn't an option with how boggy the ground was. So I set up camp and quickly set about getting some food into me because it was pretty cold. So I'm just chilling out. I'm not doing anything. I'm watching the water go by, listening to the birds. I've not heard anything apart from nature for the past hour. That's a lie, apart from me munching down some pasta carbonara at an aggressive rate. But I was pretty hungry. So yeah, no, this is a really nice spot. I always say this, I'll have to come back here when the weather's nice. But you want to go back everywhere when the weather's nice. And when you find a nice spot, of course you want to go back. But there's plenty of time for that. But for now, I'm going to sit here. I'll get a little... I'll turn this camera around in a minute and get a little view of what I'm looking at so you can see why I'm so chilled out. This right here is all I'm looking at. Obviously you can't see quite as much as I can see because you're just getting it through the camera, but it's very nice. Good morning. It felt a little bit cold last night. I was pretty cozy though, put my jacket on in the sleeping bag, it was alright. But it would explain it because I've woken up and we got a tiny bit of snow, tiny. There's probably a little bit more once I get back on the road because I've got all this tree cover, but yeah, it's very fresh this morning, so it's time to pop down to the river. The loch, the reservoir. I don't know how many different things I'm going to call it. Get some water, get some hot porridge on the go, a cup of coffee, and then I need to get packed up. But for now, hot drink. It's cold. So it's been a very chilly start for me. Had to pop down to the reservoir and fill the water bottles up. Only just got the feeling back in my hands, but it's been worth it. I have, so far, one hot bottle of juice to keep me going, and currently on the go is my homemade porridge concoction even, of cinnamon, raisins, a little bit of sugar and some porridge. So we've got that on the go just now, and hopefully it's starting to heat up and I'm going to enjoy a nice hearty warm breakfast because I think I'm going to need it. My mate Lee has just messaged me. He is on the roads over this way, I think, over there, heading towards Hoyk, and he says there's plenty of snow. So we'll see what it's like when I get out. Like I said, there's only a little bit of snow for me there, but hey, we'll make it. It's only about 30 miles home. However, breakfast time first. So down there we've got what's remaining of the snow. Then we've got the reservoir, and if we keep on turning around, we've got what was my campsite. Obviously, leave no trace principles, right? No rubbish left behind. The only thing you can see is where my fine body was laying last night. But yeah, I'm going to finish getting this bike packed up. I need to get my water bottle sorted. I've already been down to the river and filled that bad boy up right there. My hands are pretty cold. But if we turn around and get a little look through the trees, that right there, ladies and gentlemen, is the sun. So let's hope that stays out to warm me up once I get on the road. Time will tell. Well, we've just left camp and it's pretty nippy. As you can see ahead of us, we definitely got some snow last night. I was ever so slightly lower than all this, so just a little drizzling for myself. Morning, sheep. Well, this hill will soon get the legs warmed up. That sun's really trying its best over there. I appreciate that. So we've crested the hill. The sun is well and truly out. I can already see down in the valley there, that is without snow, so hopefully no ice. We're about to find out. So one thing I did learn from last night's chilly bikepacking trip was, before you go to bed, Jack, fill all of your water bottles up. Because if you wake up and it's snowed and it's freezing, it's a very chilly job to go down to the water, fill up the bag, filter it through the filter. Yeah, not the most enjoyable job first thing in the morning. So I think it's only right that I take a second here to remember that yesterday, through my own stupidity, this glove was eaten and then semi-regurgitated by a horse until I rescued it. It's holding up pretty well. It's got a few little rips in it, but it's definitely not falling apart. These are the Alemoor deep winter gloves. I think at full price they set you back £80, which is a lot of money. However, now it's been eaten by a horse and it's still working, I'm starting to think that £80 is a fairly solid price. So when I get home, I'm definitely sending an email to Alemoor informing them that their gloves are horse-proof. Well done, Alemoor. Well done. Well, this is Scotland at the end of March for bikepacking, but it was forecast, so I can't really complain. Do I wish it had been a bit warmer? Yes, but the scenery is pretty spectacular. Get a look at this. You can see on the lower ground where the snow's gone, but if we keep going round, it's just beautiful. The wind's a little bit fresh, however, I've messaged a friend who lives about 10 miles away from here, and he assures me that if he's still at home, I can message him for a coffee. So Kyle, if you ever get around to watching this, I appreciate that because it's pretty cold. Right, 10 miles to go. Let's see if we can get a warm drink. Well, here we are, just about to enter Lily's Leaf. I stopped back there and checked my phone. Kyle, the hero that he is, has messaged me, sent me his address. I'm on my way for a coffee. Big thanks to Kyle for the coffee. Even bigger thanks for the cream egg. Just what I needed. 10 miles to go. Nearly home. So, just left Kyle's. The weather's actually improved. It's a bit warmer and the sun's out. But I'm fully refreshed. I've got a coffee inside me, a cream egg, and a couple of jelly babies. So, what more does a guy need? About 10 miles till I get home, a few little climbs, but we're on the home stretch. Before I knew it, I was back into the, well, I say hustle and bustle, it's the Scottish borders. It's not hustling and it's not bustling too often, but compared to where I had spent the evening, I was now back at the hustle and bustle of the local towns. So this is a little place called Darnick, just a few miles from home now. But yeah, another successful trip with some interesting weather. So, I'm riding back, just crossed the main road, and I've got my arm out to pull into a little side junction. And the car behind me, what does it do? Beeps its horn. So, I wave it in, and there's a really, really good looking woman inside who starts talking to me. So anyway, we get on pretty well, and then I put my head through the window, go for a kiss. It was my wife. It was my wife, just before you think I've gone absolutely crazy and I'm willing to risk all of that crazy stuff on some strange woman pulling me over on my bike. So yeah, that was nice little surprise. She's away to pick up our eldest. He's at Grandma's, so yeah, I'm only a few miles from home. I'll be there soon. Yep, there we go. I'll be there soon, so I'll get to catch up with them all when I get there. You all thought I'd met somebody else, didn't you? You crazy lot. Well, we're back home. Episode 3 pretty much done. I've done as I said I would. Sleeping bag, tent, in a tent. All hanging up to dry. I'm going to give the bike a quick hose off, and then I'm going to head inside, get all the electronics charged back up for next time, clean out my frame pack, which has got all the food stuff in and cookware, just to make sure it's nice and clean for my next trip. And yeah, that's about us. It's going to be a bubble bath, maybe a cheeky takeaway pizza like I was saying for my dinner, because I've earned it. But yeah, that's about it. Thanks very much for watching. If you've seen the other 2 episodes, cheers for tuning in for number 3. And if this is the first one you've watched, I'll put links right down there in the description so you can go and check out episode 1 and 2. As always, if you have enjoyed it, click that subscribe button. It all helps. I'm closing on that 1,000, which is phenomenal. Never thought I'd get that far, so cheers very much. Right, for now, bubble bath pizza. I'll see you on the next one, okay? Cheerio.